1, 2. Those are remarkably heavy, and it looks like they've been through some stuff. I've heard good things about Bluetti's packaging, so I'm really curious. Let's see what everything looks like here. One, double boxed, look at that, lots of foam. Yes, I got the card in advance. I knew this thing would be a monster. It weighs nearly as much as I do. But it's a capable machine. This is the Bluetti AC300 with the B300 battery. This is 3,000 watts, pure sine wave, continuous rating, 6,000 watt surge. This is 3,072 watt hours in a single battery. This unit will take up to 4 of these batteries for, I believe, 12.2 kilowatt hours in total combined capacity. This is lithium phosphate for longevity. This is rated for 3,500 plus full charge cycles, dead to flat, and still have 80% of its original manufactured capacity left. This unit is rated to run continuously. It can be used for 24/7 home backup. It can be used for off-grid. It can take up to 2,400 watts of solar input. It can charge at 3,000 watts with optional cable AC input for a total of 5,400 watts of total charging capacity. You can recharge it in any number of ways. Bluetti tells me there are 7, or I read that there are 7 different ways you can charge it. Combinations of car, from a lead acid battery, from the solar, from the wall, via optional adapters. The battery also takes an adapter input and has its own solar charge controller. So it can take input directly, not in addition to the charging capacity of the head unit. It's a beast. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with it. More on that in a minute. All right, today is tomorrow. I have the unit in my basement, all connected. It's been on solar since yesterday afternoon. Yesterday was quite cloudy. Today was bright sun. I have 800 watts of panels outside. She is now topped off completely. I think the B300 is completely balanced. It's been reading 100%. Stopped taking solar an hour or 2 ago. And I'm going to try and load this thing up and see what it'll do. We're going to try about a 1C discharge on the battery. That's so 3,072 watt hours, 3,000 watt inverter. I have 2 1,500 watt space heaters, so we'll give it its full rated load and see what she does. The first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the solar. I have the AC plug connected, but it's not been plugged in anything. Oh, I disconnected the wrong one. That was the AC plug I disconnected. Okay, solar is now disconnected. All right, so let's turn on the AC output. There we go. There was just a delay. Plug in our 2 heaters. Pick any two plugs. All right, so we'll give it, fan came on that one. So that should be 800 watts. 15. Second heater. 15. We are reading 2300, 2400, 25, 27, 3200 watts. I see an overload alarm. 3400 watts. Now she's settling back down. The heaters take a little extra inrush, you know, to come up to temperature. I'm reading 2947 watts currently. $29.13, $29.07. I'll pull that up on the app here. I saw 3,400 and change watts briefly. It did beep overload. Did not shut down. Okay, battery's falling. Okay, we're going handheld on the screen here. Let's see what it says. AC load, 2,885 watts, 120.2 volts, inverter output, nothing from grid, nothing from solar, no DC output, 89% in discharge. It would be nice if it had a runtime meter there like my AC180 does, but I guess something this size, it just goes. Check back when she's done. And it just clicked off. We are at 57 minutes. That's not bad at all. It settled in at 2,950 watts after a couple minutes, and it maintained that there. Like I said, that is impressive. Again, the AC kicked off, the unit beeped alarm, but it's still operating, so I'm going to remove the fans and reconnect the solar. Get charging back up here again. Okay, here comes the solar. 200, 300, 450, 550. It's a little late in the afternoon, so that might be all we get. I'll cut this off here, and we'll come back and do some more once it's fully charged back up again. Okay, now let me take you through the various UPS modes on this thing. This is now a day and a half later. I've had some time to mess with it. I have some local load here. This is all my home networking and computer equipment and everything. It's a little high because I've got task lights on. I want to just load it up. It's normally about 150 watts, but I got some extra on here just to show how everything works. I am currently in PV priority mode. I will show how to get to that. You go to settings, next, and then working mode, PV priority. I will select it again, even though I'm already in it. Now it says reserve capacity for PV charging, 15%. And then I'll let you read the description here. The way this description reads is it will charge via grid to the opposite of this, and then 15%, the top 15% it will save for solar panel charging and use. I have found that is exactly the opposite. In PV priority UPS, it will charge and maintain 15% or whatever you have that set to. I'll put the app up here. It will charge and maintain 15% via grid power, and then anything above that, it will charge and supply to your output load from the PV. So I have it set at 15%, It's been on here all day long. Let me go back. And I'm currently bringing in 144 watts. I'm at 97% battery. I'm putting out 227 watts. It says load matching. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but I noticed in PV mode it says that. And notice we are taking nothing from the grid. I am less than 100% charged. There is nothing coming from the grid, even though it is available. I am plugged into wall power, but it is not taking from it because I am above 15%. If left this way, it will, and if I remove the PV or in a extended cloudy, situation and all that, it will run this all the way down to 15% battery, and then it will start drawing from the grid to maintain 15% and power my output. That is how that works. I have this unit currently connected to 800 watts of portable solar panels that I have on my deck. I'll maybe put a picture over here of that briefly. It's later in the afternoon, so the Solar Max is well and done for the day. I'm only at 147 watts. But still, it is taking that and passing it through to the output. So that is PV priority mode. The other major mode of interest is standard UPS mode. Enter standard. It says offline UPS, which would be, if that is correct, the way a normal UPS works, it will charge the internal battery up to 100% via whatever sources are available. So notice it is still taking PV, but now it's taking grid. It's trying to get that battery to 100% via whatever means it can. It will keep it at 100% via the grid and power the output. Notice now the AC load says bypass output C for charge, so it's charging. So that is standard UPS mode. I have not tested this long term to see if it will send any PV to the output. I don't think it will. I think it will charge to 100% and then shut off the PV and only take from the grid and pass grid to output. The only way it would take PV is if grid power fails and it starts using the battery, then I believe it will start taking PV. The other UPS modes are combinations of those. You have time control UPS. This allows you to put in various, I think up to 6 different time slots to charge or not charge. That's useful if you have time of use rate. You also have similar battery percents. The SOC low is the portion which it says the unit will shut off. The only way to turn the unit back on after that is to come in here and change the setting or change the UPS mode. That gives you like an emergency reserve, so to say. And then battery SOC high is the same as, I believe, in PV priority, where it'll charge via up to 50% from the grid, and then above that it will take solar only from solar. Then you also have customized UPS, which is all of those together. You can do the time settings, you can do the state of charge stuff, you can tell it to take from the grid, take not from the grid at any times. Again, this is same deal as if you would have the time of use things in your utility. Say your peak hours are from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. You can tell it to not take anything from the grid during that time. And then at off-peak times, you can tell it to charge all the way up. And if PV is available, it will always take PV. So basically, you can use that to do load shifting, both the time control UPS and the customized UPS. but I've had it on PV priority now for a day and a half. It has been amazing. It hasn't actually drawn from grid at all, even though I've kept it connected. It ran the battery down last night to 55%. Then the sun came out this morning. All the PV hit, charged the battery up. By 1 a.m. the battery was full, and my output load, again, all my cable internet, my editing computer, some of the basement lights and things has been powered for 2 days now from the sun, but still utility backed. If power goes out and it's a cloudy day and I get below the 15% I have charged in here, and the grid is available, it will maintain at 15%, and then the sun comes back out, it'll start charging again. But it takes that PV and sends it right through the unit out to my loads, not drawing from the grid at all. It's been really, really neat. It's a super learning experience. We'll come back for a little more. So those are the UPS modes with the AC300. One of the awesome upgrades that this has over the lesser models like my AC180 and EB3A that also have UPS modes is that the AC300 actually has a separate charger and a separate inverter. It runs them more like a true double conversion online UPS. It can charge, draw from utility power at a different rate that it is supplying inverter power. That's also why this head unit is so heavy. It has two separate input and output paths, both capable of 3,000 watts. It is a monster. It has truly impressed me in the UPS role, what it can do. And that's it for this part. Next, I will be trying to use this as a whole home backup on my generator hitching post outside.